Good morning. I'm going to wonder about something that might sound crazy. If anything I've ever said has been helpful or resonates, my ask is that you trust that I'm on your side and want to bring you something that might dramatically change your life and the world in a good way. Is there anyone out there who doesn't love it when their friends or their family has their back no matter what? We might phrase it as unconditional love, that no matter what we do or say, our friends and our family have our back. There's this phenomenon called brand loyalty, where people will buy or use a certain brand and stick to it no matter what. Even if it sucks or they've never ridden anything else and they don't even know, they'll stick with it. And one huge perk might be the foil drive, where everyone who has one can get together and ride waves that nobody else can. Either you have a foil drive and you can join them, or you don't have a foil drive and you can't. It's just a physics thing. You can't hang with them. Often it's not that black and white. It's more subtle, as in buy Kelly Slater's boards, hoping that we can ride like Kelly Slater, or ride what Kai Lenny rides, hoping that some of that magic will somehow filter down to us, or at the very least we'll be cool by association for having the same brand recognition. And often there are subtle perks, as in that brand might organize a get-together or a meetup, or they might rent a house somewhere and they all get together. And while it might not be exclusive per se, you might feel uncomfortable. You might not be able to speak the language. When they're talking with the jargon of their particular brand, you don't speak the language, so you feel like a foreigner, an outsider. You can't communicate with them in a way. And so we might exclude ourselves just to not feel that discomfort. A similar phenomenon in shortboarding is to buy a local brand, to have the local wetsuit with the local branding to try to fit in. Another way this might show up would be something like a super fast foil, like Mike's Lab. Most people consider it to be much faster than others, or my experience wing foiling is I have a hard time keeping up with them. They just literally go away from me and I can't hang. Over the years, I've often asked people who are brand loyal, what do you like about your gear? And often they can't tell me. I ask if they've ridden anything else. They say no. And I mean no disrespect. I'm just noticing a feature of human nature where we tend to group together and don't ask questions. As an example, my grandfather was in the Hitler Youth. Yeah, that Hitler. In the 30s in Germany, as a young man, he just did it. He likened it to the Boy Scouts, as in it's a culturally accepted practice that people just do. They don't necessarily think about it or question it or look into it. It's just something that's done. As a teenager looking for work, he noticed that all the jobs, the good jobs, were assigned to loyal party members, and everyone else was excluded or at the bottom of the list, which was essentially being excluded. That left him two choices: no work or low-paying bad work, or join the party. Neither one of those choices sounded appealing to my grandfather, so he left Germany and came to America. What I'm wondering is how many of the Germans in the 30s and 40s asked questions or wondered about their groups, whether they were good or bad or whatever they were being told. Did they just accept it, or did they look into it? Did they consider themselves brainwashed or indoctrinated? And this brings me to my real question, which is, how do we know if we're brainwashed? Did Romans believe whatever they were told about Jesus? Did people in Stalinist Russia believe whatever Stalin said about whoever he was persecuting? How about Maoist China or North Korea? What about what we believe about North Korea? Is that the truth? Are we questioning it? Do we know? How would we know whether we're brainwashed or they're brainwashed, or we're both brainwashed? Like, what are the markers? In martial arts, that's a big thing about doing a move, is what are the markers, or where's the feel? What do I touch or know or see that helps me determine what to do next? If the institutions we trust are doing bad things or not telling us the truth or flat out lying, how do we know? And my understanding of history is that these bad things didn't happen overnight, or these propagandists didn't just turn on a switch. It was decades or centuries or years, at least, in the making. And so how do we spot the markers if an institution we are blindly loyal to is up to no good, or has some nefarious plans in the works? Or equally important, if there's an institution out there doing good, wouldn't we want to jump ship and support them? In my wondering and pondering this question myself, I came to a couple markers that seem pretty reliable as to whether or not I'm brainwashed. The term is logical fallacies, and the two most obvious are appeal to authority or appeal to majority. If I'm believing in something simply because some authority said so, I'm probably brainwashed. If I'm believing in something just because the majority of people believe in it, I might be brainwashed. Another marker is the ad hominem. If someone asks questions about my belief or challenges it, and my response is to attack the messenger to find some way to insult them or smear them, instead of trying to hear what they have to say and refute it with logic and rational thought and reason and science, if I go straight to name calling, I'm probably brainwashed. I don't know what I believe or why, I just do. And so I get triggered and I would respond by lashing out and being nasty and trying to attack them and make them go away because they're scaring me. So how about instead of fighting each other or fighting Nazis, we go to the source. We find the machine or the system that's indoctrinating or brainwashing or propagandizing, and we turn that off. We stop listening. Instead, we turn to ourselves, we look within, and we look to each other. And in a good, kind, civil way, we ask questions. We ask someone, how do you know that? So thanks for watching. I hope this helps and is inspiring. For more of this content and questioning and maybe some answers occasionally, come on over to my website. Lots of new content there. Lots of tools for surfing the waves of life, videos and instructions and everything I've learned. Lots of foil videos and foil instruction and foil learning. All kinds of good stuff. So come on over and I hope to see you soon. Big hug.